What's up, guys? It's Carson back from Toxic Gaming, guys, and today, guys, we have kind of the first episode of our... Okay, cool, thanks, Immersive Armors. Kind of the first episode of our new Let's Play. It's basically, I'm going to reveal, what the character looks like, and I'm just going to give you the character backstory for this episode. I decided to put the backstory in its own little, separate episode, because this one's a little longer. I put a little bit more thought into this one, and it's... I don't know, I just decided to do it. And for those of you who maybe don't like watching or listening to the backstory, so there will be the actual first episode going up the same day as this. So if you want to watch that and not watch this video, go ahead and do it. But I suggest watching this video because then you get really a thought of the backstory. So, how do I have a follower? I don't know. So guys, this is the story of Hoskiss, our hero, and this is what our hero looks like. Boom. Just a little part of the backstory. Hoskiss is a combination of Nord and Imperial heritage. His mother was a mercenary of Skyrim who fled to Cyrodiil to meet and met his father, a legate in the Imperial army. The two were married and moved outside the Imperial city to live the simpler life. Hoskiss was born soon after this move and after their marriage. Ooh, I didn't know how far it would take to get those close-up away. But he was born soon after the marriage, and, he really wanted to be a warrior, basically right from birth. He was born, picked up, as a baby, picking up sticks, flaring those bitches around, and all that shit. But his father, from that young age, decided to start training him himself until he was the right age to be able to start training to get into the Imperial Legion, into the army. And, strangely enough, Hoskiss never was very well skilled at learning the sword and shield combat. For some reason, he could not grasp the tactics of it, and even when he started preparing to join the Legion after learning from his father, his other teachers would witness he would more than likely shed the heavy armor he was wearing, drop his shield, and go running into the fray with two hands on his short sword, going all out as much as he could. But it didn't matter what weapon they tried. They tried maces, they tried war axes. Nothing he could use with one, and there was nothing he would use with one hand. He always went to two hands on a weapon and shedding his heavier armor. It seemed like he was unskilled to join the army. However, his perseverance to wanting to become a true warrior for his family led on. I don't know how to finish that sentence any better than that. And because of his father's high stature in the Legion, he was going to have a whole celebration strictly for him joining the Legion. Yes, he was only going to be, one of the regular foot soldiers, but because of his father, he was actually going to have a whole celebration for it. Upon the night before the celebration, the Thalmor agents, the High Elves that were basically kind of controlling parts of Cyrodiil at this time, and tied in deeply into Cyrodiil's, Cyrodiil's politics. The agents went scouring the countryside looking to banish those, if any, who worship Talos, a god that is a Skyrim native god of worship and outlawed by Thalmor rule. Strangely enough, when they came to Hoskiss's family's home, they busted right in the door and just ransacked the place, looking for any and all traces of Talos at all. The family all together and watched in silence as their home was torn apart. With the Thalmor agents not finding anything, they start to turn around and leave, while Hoskiss's mother, the Nord mercenary from Skyrim, whispers under her breath, "Thank Talos." Immediately upon hearing this, Thalmor agent turned right around and casting a chain lightning spell at the same time. The mother pushed Hoskiss away as to first instinct to get her son out of the way as far from the spell as possible, and the mother and father were both struck by chain lightning and killed at that moment. The agents, seeing their job done, looked upon Hoskiss in the corner and decided that he would be found the next day anyway and would just be thrown into the Legion ranks as a normal orphan like all the others. Hoskiss instead fled that night, finding any and all supplies in his house, and the little boat that his dad kept, decided to leave Cyrodiil once and for all and never return. Upon searching his house, however, he found a small package that looked like it was wrapped from his father, and as he unwrapped it, he discovered a two-handed battle axe. Taking the battle axe with him, he decided to set off for Skyrim, for his homeland, to find out why his mother was so adamant with Talos. Find out what the real fascination of it was. That night, he started his journey and never looked back. So guys, that's basically the main part of the backstory. We will continue on with the actual story in the next, video when we start the actual Let's Play, but I wanted you guys to get a good look at him here. He has a very Braveheart feel. As Hoskiss, the name itself is very directed to my own personal life. As my dad, who is a historian himself, was able to trace our family back to, I believe he traced it as far back as to one of the knights of not King Charlemagne. Was it King Charlemagne? Was he a king? I don't know. Knights of Charlemagne. One of his knights back, the guy who basically went and united France and everything. One of those Vikings. That's how far my dad traced our family heritage back to. So Hoskiss is the name that he found out, and is kind of, I guess you could say, a family crest, even though it's not. Don't go looking it up for my last name. It's not my last name, but it just seemed to fit. And being of Nordic descent myself, seemed right, and I decided to have Hoskiss be a little bit more Nord Imperial mix. As you can maybe tell by just the way his facial structure is, I found a new race mod to allow. Basically, I built a Nord, and then at the very end, to put some influence of Imperial genetics in him. That's why he has a little bit more pronounced facial structure than most. He looks a little angrier, I guess you could say. That was one of the things you can make him look angry, so I was like, you know what, he's a warrior. Why the hell not look angry? And then the war paint just gave him the Braveheart look. It just looked really nice, and I love this face paint with it. So yeah, that's basically kind of what his backstory is, why he looks the way he is. I'm a fan of the not tied beard, though. Or like the goatee thing. I am a fan of that. For some reason, I just got a fan of that. But that's what this episode is all about, guys. Just giving you the backstory. Because I would think maybe some people just wouldn't want the backstory. And you know what? This is a whole little episode specifically for it. And I'll talk about it in the next video, in the first actual episode of the Let's Play. So people can come back and see this and get the actual feel what the character is. So I'm going to get up on out here, guys. The next video will be up probably around the same time this one goes up, actually. So be ready to watch that if you're interested for more Hoskiss, not Kilgore. I'll probably end up saying Kilgore a few times by accident. But the hero's tale, Hoskiss. That's what we're having for our next Skyrim LP. So I'm going to get up on out here, guys. As always, you stay toxic. We'll see you guys.